Okay, so pretty dang unplanned this evening. I'm not even sure what I'm about to do, but we'll figure it out together. Cannot guarantee interesting content, but I can tell you, here I am. I did just jump out of the pool because it's 107 here in Texas today. It was probably not 107 right now, but earlier it was. Okay. Larry Hughes, Patrick Redding, Stacy Hawkins, Michelle Schulte, Paul Bennett. Hello, Paul. Jesse Papa Bear, and Limelight Dim. Hi. So I was just saying to no one earlier when no one was on, and Brian Lippert, Gray Hawkins, Rob O'Brien, the Hairy Beastie. Hi. I was saying earlier that I'm not even sure what I'm about to do tonight. I just figured I would come out here and go live. I accidentally started another hobby. That was an accident. So I'm going to have to clean up some stuff from that. I'm, of course, making myself a beverage. I cannot guarantee you interesting content. I don't even know what I'm going to do. Maybe I'll paint Mum Ra's helmet. That sounds like a good thing to do. I'm going to do things that move me forward in making stuff. That's all. Yes. Okay. My wife will be here shortly to read comments. I did not bring over my computer because she said she was coming. Well, okay, so the hobby that I started is, all right, so if you have watched this channel for any amount of time whatsoever, you'll know that I am a bad guys of the Masters of the Universe cartoon toy franchise. I'm a fan. So they've launched a new Masters of the Universe toy line. It is called Masters of the Universe Origins. And because I got them when I was a kid, it's really cool to see them in shelves again. And this is the Origins Beastman. Well, he was very hard to find. So in that time, I said, you know what, I'm just going to make my own. And so I bought a little King Kong that came out for the new movie. And I am making this King Kong into Beastman. You can see I added like the hair on the chops. I gave him pointed ears. And I gave him the brow ridge of Beastman. And I'm putting like this fur armor on. And this is all the steel stick epoxy from Harbor Freight mostly. But if you look at like the little nub horns here, well, I made it bigger. And I'm working on his arm pieces now, the arm armor. So that's the base, and I'll put horns on it. And see, like he didn't have a loincloth. I built the loincloth and the belt. And yeah, but so I'm working on this guy, and then I'll paint him to be a beast man. So, but since I kind of decided to do this, I found the beast man, and I am happy. But anyway, so maybe I might do a few action figure modifications. Say hi to the wife. The wife just... Yeah.
Hello, hello.
We were having some quality pool time earlier. So this is one of my little, I think everybody should have like a shelf of joy. And these are my little shelves of joy.
It's a shrine.
Yeah, it's a little shrine. And I mean, sometimes I get sent things, like I was sent these little Lego action figures, you know, which are very cool. Wolfman, Bigfoot. I was sent some of the Master of the Universe and Krampus Pops and folks by John C., who was on a lot. This is one of my little shelves of happy. I have one in my office at work too. You know, there's a Godzilla VHS that I was sent. Now a lot of this stuff I bought, but some was sent to me. This guy I just got yesterday. What a great little Yeti that I got from Hobby Lobby. I was minding my own business. and suddenly a wild yeti appeared. This is probably not at all what you guys tuned in for. But I did say at the beginning, I did not promise great content. I don't know if it's so much as a shrine to childhood as it's a shrine to cool monsters that I still like. All right, I'm done reading comments, wife. You're taking over.
Okay.
I feel like I'm up to date. It's always harder when I have to look at the comments on the phone or whatever. So it's nice to have the wife here. I'm going to clean up this mess. You guys tuned in to watch me clean. And it's quite possible that some of you are avoiding housework watching this video to watch me do housework.
Live Light Dim says, took your advice, Alan, and I began sculpting a mask. I am using foam clay.
That's awesome. Foam clay is a viable option. Find out what you like about it. And then, maybe you will move on to other clays. But for now, that's what you got. That's what you're using. Awesome. Good for you. Just make stuff. Doesn't matter what you make stuff out of, just make stuff.
Hey, Kim. You are very welcome. We are actually in the process of getting some new goodies to put in packages because some people have ordered from us more than once. And I feel lame about putting the same thing in a package, which is ridiculous because I don't remember necessarily what I put in each package. I'm afraid, it's the same thing. And you guys maybe thought it was the same thing. I don't know. But we're working to put in more stuff. It's been fun.
Yeah. Cheney, none of that is for you, bud.
John C. says, where can I get me a wife? Haunted house, John.
I would cruise the comments section because everybody in the comments section is awesome. And maybe, you know what? There was actually a lady in the YouTube comments who said, she said something along the lines of, you're the ideal husband. So you know what? Maybe there is a lady looking like, yeah, I don't want to encourage you guys hitting on each other. Like, that's not my plan. But who knows what happens, right?
Okay, Georgie says, can we see my boogeyman costume?
Jordan, I don't have my computer over here. What I will do, Jordan, I know that you're not on Facebook, but I can post it in the Creepers and then everybody can see it. It's wonderful. It's very cool. But I don't have my computer here to pull it up.
Alan began to,
What's that?
Alan began to
From Fiddler on the Roof.
Very good.
Yes, I get musical question points.
How did you know that?
That's the only. It sounded very Jewish. It sounded very Hebrew.
That's
So,
cute.
you have a question?
No, I was going to read a comment.
What's your comment?
Rachel says, I'm currently sewing back to school face masks for new kids.
Hooray! So, I want to show you guys something that I got at Hobby Lobby. I got these Christmas ornaments. Did I get these because I like Christmas? No. I don't necessarily like Christmas. I like presents. Let's make that distinction. So, why did I get these? Because these plastic, don't get glass. Plastic Christmas ornaments are like the perfect eyes for stuff. So, if you look at these plastic Christmas ornaments, they're great eye forms. These are going to go right in my eye form drawer. And they have a little stem on the back, and they even have this little connector so that you can use one eyeball or Christmas ornament to make a socket for the other, and then through cable control or rubber bands or servos, if you want, you can make eyeballs that turn and look around and stuff in little animatronic heads, or just as sculpting forms. Now, these were half price, of course. It was half of $4.99, so I paid $2.50 for 12 eyes. Why 12 eyes? Because you throw away the glittery ones just right away. Just chuck them, because you're not going to use those for anything. You know what? I can save this and put the glitter ones in cobwebs and candlesticks next package. Here are clear eyes. Now the clear ones, you can actually take a brush and paint the eye on the inside. And then once you paint the eye, paint the pupil, then paint the iris, then you pour in white paint, swirl it around, and you have an eye with the clear, shiny outside that you painted. I might do a video on that one day.
You said you didn't know what you were doing. You should work on a new project.
Well, the only me project that I have right now is the Beast Man action figure going. And I just don't think that's the kind of content that you guys want. And I have mask work to do too.
Can you sculpt Loctite once it hardens with a knife?
Yes, knife, Dremel, absolutely. You can, but then you're not sculpting, you're carving. It's different. Sculpting means that you can use additive and subtractive techniques for creating. Carving, it means that all you can do is use subtractive techniques. So it can be carved. Took the garbage out, so. Or to throw stuff away.
Notifications are on.
Oh, I'm sorry. This is proof I'm a terrible person.
Alan, thanks for the suggestions on using brown acrylic latex pulp in brown for mud on shoes. I couldn't have worked out more perfect. That is K and T do Halloween.
Hey, that's awesome. I'm so glad about that.
Did you mold the tooth monster?
I have not. I haven't even finished sculpting the tooth monster. You know what? I could do that tonight. That would be productive, right?
It's all productive.
Wife says it's all productive. Okay.
In mind, you won't be
It's a good idea.
tomorrow afternoon. Depends on what time you get home tomorrow night. Orders.
Yes,
Tooth monster order?
it is.
Jason Bell.
It is an order. Okay. Yeah, these are little ones. These are a little smaller than human eyes, but they're really good at mask.
Hello, Baby White Blaze.
Hello,
We're
Movie
doing
20.
good. We're doing good. We hope you guys are doing good. We're watching big dogs play.
So, I had some sad news to deal with yesterday, and well, it's going to keep hitting me as the season goes on, no doubt. Dark Hour Haunted House will not be opening in a normal way this October. We're too hard with COVID. Technically, we're not even able to open yet for 50% business because we're classified as an amusement. And we are in a county with over 1,000 active COVID cases. So who knows when we would even be able to start working. And the decision was made slightly above my head, but I was involved to not open in a regular way this year. So it's painful for me to hear it, and it's painful for me to have to disseminate that to the cast and the crew who have been, we've kind of been furloughed since March. Obviously, I've been live since March. Constantly, haven't stopped. It's just tough. So part of me doing what I do here to keep people's spirits up because of what's going on in the world is to keep my spirits up because of what's going on in my world. You know, everyone's affected. And I think it's only fair for you guys to understand that as happy as I am, I get to make monsters all the time. I get to pretty much do what I want all the time. I have ups and downs, and you deal with them. So maybe seeing me deal with mine will help you deal with yours. Who knows?
For making feet, the nail part, just find fake toenails, right? Or should I use hot glue to make toenails?
You know what? Normally, I paint them on. Or what I have done also is get the heavy-duty clear packing tape and put that down and just make it a little bit longer than your nail bed. And then I paint that with 5-minute epoxy. And you could put a drop of gray in the 5-minute epoxy in order to, just gray acrylic paint, and mix that up so that the nail has a little bit of, not transparency, but translucency. But it's a bit more opaque than normal. There you go, Gray Hawkins. Now I'm in haunt dad mode because I put on my glasses.
Lisa says, oh no, sorry to hear, but I'm not surprised. Crossing fingers for the hole they want.
No, yeah, it's all about doing the right thing, I think.
Blankwood says, keep your head up, Alan. This trip is so fast. Limelight Dim says, oh man, I'm sorry, Alan.
Yeah, it's hard. It's tough. But you know what? You acknowledge it, you adapt, and you overcome.
Rachel says, sorry to hear that. Thank you for continuing to share with us. Big hugs from Blankwood 4. Hello from Chicago, says Ash.
Hello to Chicago, Ash.
Big Dog said, oh.
What?
Big Dog says he lost his best friend 4 days ago. Rufus, my cat of 16 years. I'm
Oh.
sorry, Big Dog.
You know what's awesome about that is I just learned that a cat named Rufus had 16 awesome years. That's a good thing when you think about cats that live under overpasses and cats that you know, people feed behind Walmart. I don't think the Walmart cats were as happy as Rufus. So the positive in that is that he had a best buddy. That's cool. That was my dogs wrestling who just hit the tripod.
Moon 20 says, I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah, someone can name that is I'm going to say it. Crazy asshole with a hammer. This is his name.
What's his name again?
Crazy asshole with a hammer.
Honey, we don't cuss on the channel.
That's fine. It says, hey man, been a while since I seen you last.
Crazy a-hole with a hammer. Okay.
Say a-hole.
Yeah, I'm just
Cameron
gonna say
says,
that.
I'm late. Hi, everybody.
Hello. So
Very sorry about that, Big Dog. It is the hardest day there is.
it is. It's very hard.
It's the hardest day. You have 2 drinks. You don't have to have one. Have 2.
So right now, I have
Nomination votes.
right,
Kinda like we
in the
did
face.
that.
Yeah.
Kinda like we did.
Yes.
on that.
Honey, we don't mention.
You've mentioned it on live before.
I did. I told that
Yes, you did.
story.
Yes, you did.
Oh, well,
Yes, you did.
I'm sure they deserved it.
It seemed to think so. Hello, Al Matra.
Hello, Almatra. Almatra, currently the Skeletor art that you sent me is right by my fridge in my kitchen, and I love looking at it. It is that art style is so beautiful. Is there a name for that where you're kind of painting with scribbles of light? Because I don't know what that's called, and I'm inspired to paint a mask like that one day.
We're going to have to put it in the, we're going to have to do a bathroom tour at some point. Show everybody how to the bathroom is here in the studio.
I can't believe you're suggesting a bathroom tour.
Bathroom tour, because the bathroom in here is awesome.
Okay.
Larry says it is soon to be Cujo time.
It is soon to be Cujo time. You're right. Cujo is poured up and based out, my friend. So I have, I think, 2 orders ahead of that. We have a Minotaur poured up also. That's coming. I have a Shikumo coming in the original indigo blue. That'll be happening very soon. I have some stuff going on.
We got some blanks too.
Yeah, blanks. Some blanks sold. They're getting poured up. Yeah. So if you look over here at this part of the shop, all of those pieces of paper, those are separate orders. And some are simple and easy, and some are not. So, yeah. So, I jokingly say, when someone talks about being a professional haunter, that it's 70% sweeping. And And I feel like I clean the shop for 5 hours every day. I know that I don't, but it sure does feel that way. My wife is laughing at me because if you come in here, you don't realize that I've been cleaning for 2 hours straight. Bite that tongue, wife.
I'd say no.
Bite it. Bite it.
Big Dog says he needs to get a new tattoo of one of the boys. That's very sweet.
That would be very cool.
Rob says, I love seeing all those orders.
Would that be a tattoo, not a tattoo? Okay. That was me that time.
Are you doing this because 1980 hasn't signed on?
Yeah, he's not on yet.
Doing the knee. John C's on. He's pretty accurate.
Yeah. He's
Okay.
fantastic.
Hello, Jerry Collins. Crazy a-hole with a hammer. Almost done with my first official corpse made with a skeleton and drop cloth. I just went down to the dry freshener.
That's awesome.
It is awesome.
That's very cool. You're making stuff. Go forth and maketh things.
Says all the family says hello.
Hello, family.
You know who that is? It's our Florence.
Oh. Hello. Oh, you tell you what. Okay, is all of the family there, Moon 20? That's my question for you. Because I'm taking a page out of Lost Zodiac's book, and I will show you that I am modifying an action figure. Lost Zodiac was in the shop once, and I showed her some things. So all of this I made. This was a King Kong originally. I'm turning it into a Beast Man. So he has this big fur collar, so I made these horns. I changed his head too. Like all these chops I added, and I added this brow ridge, and I gave him pointed ears. So it's tough to get this stuff sculpted in the 5 minutes you have before it hardens. But there's another kind from Gorilla Glue Company. They have a type of this epoxy clay that takes 10 minutes to set, so it doubles your working time. I like it.
Jesse Papadera says art is messy.
Art can be messy, yes.
The
Cleaning.
director is in charge of the artistic integrity of the piece and the sweeping, says Rob O'Brien.
And the sweeping, you are correct.
Moon 20 also says art is messy. Baptist Orlis at 3 a.m. here in Donegal, Ireland. Back.
Well, maybe you should go to sleep. What are you doing?
Almont says, so cool, thank you. Everyone asks me what the style is called, and I have no idea. It's just something I came up with 5 years ago. It would be amazing to do a mask with some inspiration from my
Yeah,
own style.
it's like light scribbles. That's what I call it. You're light scribbling.
Robert White, hello. John C. says, who were the two retriever or retriever mixed dogs who pulled you around on the Land Rover stage?
Well, okay, so those were they were both golden, but they were not golden retrievers. They were Pyrenees mixes, and one was named Spitz, one was named Wendigo, and they were our doggos before we had these doggos, and they were wonderful. There is something joyous about having something in your house that is always happy to see you. And you know, I like cats, but they're not always happy to see you. Sometimes cats are like, there you are, feed me.
Doyle's always happy.
Doyle appears happy to see you.
Moon 20 says they say that's good. That's good. What's that?
Yeah.
Rodney Pope says hello. Oh, Rodney, I need to invoice here.
We're gonna sculpt. You reminded the wife you exist. Now she wants money. That's how that goes. All right, so I'm kind of looking at this. Cheney.
What? What do I do? What is it? What do I do?
What you need, buddy? He desperately wants me to kick his butt. Like, that's what he's saying. You think he's saying pay me some attention, but no, he's saying rough me up and throw me on the ground and stuff.
Crazy A-hole says, I feel like cats are always secretly judging you.
They are judging you.
Lion Cook says, I remember Wendigo. She was a beautiful dog.
Yes, yes, she was.
Baptist says, I was up so late sculpting a clown punk mask.
Clown what?
Punk.
Okay.
Tarantula says, this looks like it'll be great to eat dinner too.
Yes, yes, this is it's a toothy orifice. Enjoy.
Hello, Edie. Big Dog says he'll take Cheney, and the wife said it is okay. Okay. I'm kidding.
Hold on, don't be so hasty there, wife. I almost said out loud that he's the good one, but that is not true.
So not true.
What's that?
Hammer time.
Hammer time, yes. Rodney bought hammer time.
Rodney bought hammer time. Cool.
He messaged me and said, is hammer time sold yet? And I said, no. He said, now it is. Okay, I just grabbed some more. I have a couple little teeth. I'm going to put some other teeth in here. Such things needs more teeth. So I have to think about this when this is molded, all right? All of the air around it is going to be stone. It's going to be a rock. And when I pour latex in, I don't want the latex to I don't want air to get trapped in there. So all of these teeth, I'm kind of pointing out a little bit so that when it's upside down and this is air and not solid, and all the solid is around it, I can pour in latex and the air has a way to escape out of these teeth. I don't want air bubbles down in these teeth.
Moon 20 says, I have 3 dogs. They are so cute but messy.
Dogs
Ours are too, Moon 20.
are messy, yes.
Lisa is a Boris fangirl.
I see.
Hello, Rose. Hey. Hammer time came out excellent. Good snag, Rodney. Well, Rodney is lucky Beastman, the polar bear, and Hammer time are definitely keepers.
He is a snatcher-upper, that's for sure.
Baptist Orla says, reminds me of the classic movie T.
I don't know if that's a classic. I must grab some of that clay I just put away. I over-cleaned. Said husband never. Yes, there are things at my shop that I just allow the dogs to destroy. And those are little sacrifices to appease them.
Tarantula says, I'm a cat person. I love dogs, but I just don't vibe with dog behavior. And cat dogs, I miss them very much. I'm a very good toilet. Would be my life.
What's cool about cats is that, I travel on occasion, or I used to. You can leave a cat a bigger pile of food and they're going to be okay for a few days. But if you leave a dog, and even if you put out 10 pounds of food, they're going to eat that 10 pounds of food as soon as they possibly can and just make poor choices the whole time you're gone.
But we like both.
We do. We have both. We like both. So I'm just putting a little bit of a gum line around these new teeth.
Lisa says, but Boris didn't eat the steak. He was a good boy.
That's correct. You're true.
What is she doing?
Bella, no, please don't eat the air conditioner.
The air conditioner.
The air conditioner is important and vital to my cause.
Misty says, fur babies make the best therapists.
They do.
Rodney Pope, Alan, would you mind signing Hammer Time, please?
No, I will not do it. I refuse.
Masato K, say hello.
Hello, Masato K.
Moon 20, we are staying safe. We are being very, very careful. And we're not messing around with anything, so we hope you guys are too. We love you guys.
Yes.
Big Dog says, cats are great. I had mine trained with voice, hand, snaps, commands, just like my dog.
Wow, that's awesome.
I love cats. I love cats and dogs. Cannot choose between the two. Tarantula. Well, I've fed all my babies raw meat, but yeah, dogs will always make the best choices for themselves.
Yes. For themselves right now. They don't have a lot of long-term thinking skills.
We are a dog and cat house.
Dogs are kind of hedonists.
Hello, Sarah R. Hello, Stevenson Mel.
Hello, Stevenson Mill and Sarah R.
Roger says, my wife has a cat and I have 2 dogs.
Let's see. This is the worst part about sculpting tools sometimes. I don't want the clay to stick to this, so I have to get it wet. I don't have any liquid over here. Gross.
Big Dog says, cats and dogs can live together.
Sure. Our cats love our dogs. Mostly.
Edie says, I find that dogs take after their owners while cats just flat ass don't give a dang one way or the other. I will tell you guys this. Yesterday, when Alan had a very rough day, he sat down. The first thing that happened was our big cat Tuxedo got on his chest and started purring and making muffins and loving on him. They know. They know. We got some pretty sweet cats. Tarantula says, when I had a pack of 4, I could do things like buy them each a pork roast and send them out back with them. They feed from them for like a day, 2 days. And then I'd get to see vultures in my yard sometimes.
That's interesting.
KBFX says, well, if I isn't one of my favorite peeps, do it on live sculpting video. Hello, good sir.
Hello, who said that?
KBFX.
Hello, KBFX.
120. We had 2 cats and 2 puppies. I love those cats. Those are good cats. Stevenson Metal. My dog and cat play together all the time. Ours play.
Yep. So much of the playing. Gums.
My cats
No
are
gums.
glued to me. They are part of my soul. I can't even leave the room without Merlin and Myron crying about it. That's clingy cats. Does anyone have any good cat monster movies?
Well, there's Cat People with Natasha Kinski. What is the Stephen King movie?
Pet Cemetery.
No, well, okay. Pet Cemetery is good, but that's not the one I was thinking of.
Cat's Eye?
Cat's Eye, yes. And there was another movie about a possessed cat on a yacht. And I might be giving away a little bit too much. Honey, what was the name of the movie that we went to see when we were dating and we really didn't watch it? We just kind of made out in the movie theater.
Brotherhood of the Wolf.
Brotherhood of the Wolf. There is no wolf in that movie. It is. I did watch it later, and yeah, no wolf. It's a lion, so it's a cat movie.
Sarah says hello.
Hello.
KBFX. This reminds me of the show about parasite living inside a people's body. I think it was called Monster Inside.
Monsters Inside Me. Yes, one of the few shows with the name Monster in the title that I wouldn't watch. So gross.
Rodney Pope says, this mask kind of reminds me of the puppet I used the first Jericho's Dark Hour.
Yeah, because you played the Maggot King. Maggot King Hiss. And okay, so Rodney, if you remember, King Hiss is the name of a Masters of the Universe villain. So Maggot King Hiss in 2015, 14 was a Masters of the Universe character. Kind of. But this one was maggots. King Hiss, when he took his armor off, he was just made of a pile of snakes. And this was a pile of maggots. So I named it Maggot King Hiss, and no one knew what I was talking about. And it was kind of an obscure Master of the Universe character from the end of the run.
Tony says I'm a candy dog person.
Indeed. You guys are so close that if I...
In fact, this says bottom first. Rodney says, I really enjoyed that character in that position in the house.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Or it looked like a lot of fun. I never got to do it because I was busy working. Not that you weren't working, I was just doing other work.
Third degree of terror. Alan was thinking of uninvited about the youth cat inside a house cat on a yacht.
The uninvited. Okay. Yes.
Lisa says, I hope you hold on to the underwater thing for another time. I would love to see it fully realized.
Listen, okay? It's happening. So, and, you know, I'm going to talk a lot right now, but, you know, I haven't talked to a lot of other people. But pretty much show-wise, they sort of let me do what I want. What I want to do is Christmas time for the Wreck the Halls show. Dark Hour's main theme is a coven of witches, and pretty much each off-season show, a different witch comes into power. And we always have a zombie show in July. Well, it was in July. It was in June. And then now we've moved it. Our zombie show is more towards Valentine's Day, February. So, anyway, the witch in charge of that show is the Contagion Witch, because she infected all the zombies and stuff. And I think that I'm going to have the pirates kill the Contagion Witch, because everything that's going on right now in the whole world. And then they say, you know, they took Halloween from us because it was supposed to be our time to shine as a sea hag witch, which the pirates work for. That was our time to shine, so we're going to take their Christmas. So that's going to be a very scary pirate Christmas. That's my plan.
Dog says, okay, I'll do story time. I had a bulldog, a boxer, and Rufus the cat, and Norwegian foster, and a Maine Coon mix. And I said, where is the kitty? And all three run to the front window looking for a cat. It should not be in our yard.
I see.
What's the longest you've been able to sculpt on a web mask? If I do a long period of time sculpting, I like to use monster clay for detail.
Well, I don't take a long time. Like this isn't a hobby for me. It's not something that I do for fun whenever I want. I mean, I'm making tools for work, and I'm making masks that I'm selling to other people. So this is, when I'm sculpting, it's work. Or I'm making a mask that I intend on selling. And it's not that I don't want it to be the very best it can be. I just don't have that kind of time. And because the more time I spend on something, the more I have to charge for it. And the more I charge for it, honestly, the less likely I am to sell it. So, probably the longest I've taken on a mask, I've had one covered up for, 4 or 5 months. Just spray it every now and then and keep it covered. Yeah. But about 2 weeks, not straight, is the longest I take on a mask to sculpt.
He said, that sounds awesome. He says, how sharp are those scissors?
These are pretty sharp. I mean, that's a big plastic tooth. With these guys, I can cut Abraham Lincoln out of a penny. These are Al Stolman leather cutting shears from Tandy Leather. They're really nice.
Lisa says that sounds awesome. Tarantula says, oh, Cajun. I thought you said Cajun.
No, we don't have a Cajun witch at the moment.
Sada says you can't go wrong with pirates. HBK Styles, what's the longest it's taken you to do a complete mask?
The longest? Well, now see, I've like Hammer Time. I molded it 2 months ago, but I just finished one last night or the other night. So it depends on what you mean. Like, how much time do I normally take? That's how I answer that. Start to finish, I've got about 16 hours in a mask. That's about how long it takes to sculpt it, mold it, pour it, pull it, paint it. Now that 16 hours may be spread over 2 weeks, over a month, or whatever, but it's about 16 hours of time.
What do you do for fun?
I go fishing for fun, and I apparently customize an action figure for fun. That's a very hobby thing. That's not something I'm making money on. I do tend to be a little bit money centric. Like, I don't do things that don't have that won't make me money down the road. Which I guess isn't a bad thing, but it's not, it took me a while to realize that I wanted to monetize everything in my life. I guess I'm not going to use that tool anymore. I wanted to monetize kind of everything in my life, but once I realized that, I can kind of see it coming and avoid it. But yeah, fun.
Have you sculpted the wolf foot yet?
Oh yeah, Wolffoot is sculpted, and it'll be molded here very soon.
Breaking out of the constraints of Christmas horror. I love your thinking. Leather shears are wicked awesome. Gregory Haynes says hello.
Hello, Gregory Haynes.
Baptist says, Space Pirates with a contagious, scurvy zombie on them.
Yeah.
Stacy says, at Christmas I'm going to have a kickin' pirate costume. We'll have to pick a successor for Mrs. Claus. Crazy A-hole, is that including drawing time? How long it's taken you to?
Yes. Yep.
Hello, Allie Carroll.
Hello, Allie Carroll.
Hello, Spastic Puck. Plastic Ninja. Hello. Big Dog says, I have to stop buying stuff. My wife is getting suspicious.
Okay, so funny story about that. A guy I knew, I won't mention his name. He invited me, Bart Butler, and Michael Edwards out for. He paid us to do an actor training, a big actor training event in Michigan, near Detroit. And well, okay, no problem. So we get there, and we go, we do the whole weekend. It's a whole big weekend. He doesn't have a haunted house, but we know that he's about to open a haunted house, and so we do this whole weekend of training. And Sunday evening rolls around, and he says, well, my wife and I want to take you guys out to dinner because the training went so well and you guys did such a good job. And we're like, okay. So he's like, I'll meet you at the hotel. So he comes up to meet us at the hotel. We had not met his wife yet because she wasn't there. And the whole weekend, and for easily a year, he had been talking to me about the haunted house he's going to open. And in the elevator, on the way down to the lobby, he said, listen, my wife doesn't know I'm going to open a haunted house. And this guy has spent thousands of dollars with me buying stuff, just with me. And I'm like, he's like, just don't mention that I'm going to start a haunted house because she doesn't know. he hits us with that as we're going down in the elevator. So it made for a little bit of a weird, awkward dinner. I kind of felt like I was at a Japanese tea ceremony, where apparently at a Japanese tea ceremony, all that you're allowed to talk about is what's happening at the tea ceremony. You can talk about how good the tea is, or where the tea is from. You can talk about the china that they serve the tea in. You can talk about the table setting and the decorations to each other. But you can't talk about anything that isn't the tea ceremony. And after the past couple weeks on Facebook, I fully understand that principle and why they did that. But, it was, I talk about haunted houses and haunted house stuff. So all I talked about was how good the Mediterranean food was. It was a very surreal dinner.
Lisa says, what did she think the acting was for?
She wasn't there. I guess she didn't know what he was doing the whole weekend, or why he flew us in.
Alan, will whiplash ever be offered as a play?
Yes. As soon as my wife can catch me before I paint one. I got to pour another one up. Yes.
The Potty Geek says, just came in to this guy is starting a haunted house. He just came in to the story.
Yeah. So that's it. He didn't tell his wife that he's starting a haunted house.
Last Ninja. That's the weirdest affair I've ever heard of.
Oh.
Tarantula says, I'd love it if my husband surprised me with that, but he won't even help me make stuff.
You know what? It wasn't like a surprise. It was like, I'm spending a ton of money on this and I haven't told.
So we're going to dinner and talking about it.
Yeah, you know who that was, right?
I know exactly who
Yeah.
it is. 73 people are watching.
Hello, 73 people.
That just meant that you didn't have anything to talk about. Because you used to go to dinner with a client, y'all going to talk business.
Absolutely, and we couldn't talk business. It was just weird.
Mighty Geeks says, we should go to dinner. Mighty Geeks, so much excitement for you, that would be great. And Rob O'Brien says, did he open a haunted house?
He did.
Plastic Ninja says, sounds like a very healthy relationship.
He did something also kind of smart. He apparently got a big warehouse in Detroit for like no money, and it had, and no money I mean like, let's say $200,000, and it had all this factory equipment in it. So the factory equipment was loaded up and driven to Arizona and sold for scrap, because in Detroit, a big steel, in that area, there's no market for scrap metal. But in Arizona there was, so he made a good bit of money and funded a lot of the haunted house by carting all that scrap metal that he got, and was just going to be in his way to Arizona to sell it.
Are they still married? Did his wife find out?
I don't know.
Don't get into that.
Yeah. And that would not be part of story time if that were the case.
Crazy a-hole. I got fired from a haunt last year because this girl freaked out, thinking I was really going to kill her mother. I ran the electric chair. They complained to the owners, and the manager fired me. I did nothing out of the ordinary.
That's interesting. Now, it probably didn't help your case that you've named yourself Crazy A-hole with a hammer, but I'm just saying, as far as extraneous information goes, which one do you think might want to kill that lady, Brad or Crazy A-hole with a hammer? I think Brad's going to get a pass on that one. Just doing some lip lines in this. And I was hoping that all these ridges and lines would make this a little less sphinctery. but that is not to be.
No, Edie. He's going, who got the haunted house? I'm not gonna say. It'd not be cool. Crazy A.O. says the manager's claimed I was too good at my job. No joke. He offered a letter of recommendation. I never got it.
That happens.
Sounds like you're better off in a good place. People are watching. Oh, I brought Saturday night.
So what I'm doing is I'm going in and I'm scratching lines in around here just to get a little more detail. And now I'm going to take this brush, get it a little softer, and just brush out. You get clay boogers whenever you do any kind of detail work. You got to stop and remove the clay boogers sometimes.
Crazy Abel says, you're looking for a new one this year, provided the big Rona doesn't screw things up. Big Dog says, shall we be paid for this mask?
We actually can, yes. I'm more than down to think of names. Now, listen.
Good luck.
I know what this mask has a slight resemblance to with teeth added, okay? I understand that. I understand it's very nature. So please, my wife is only going to read me names that are not body part centric, all right?
Because this has to go on the website, guys.
Yeah, it's going to go on the website. It's a mask that I'll be selling. It's part of my line. So it has to be.
And the first thing is Tarantula says roid rage.
Yeah, no.
Guys.
Yes.
We gotta sell this on the.
If I can keep my customers from thinking about buttholes for as long as possible while they're on my website, I'm calling that a win. That may not be.
Yes, no, chastity is out. Crazy says the Mongol, Gluttony, Leech Lord.
Leech Lord, that sounds cool.
Yeah, I like that.
Honey, who is picking the name? I'm going to say probably not Tarantula.
Leech Lord, Champ. Leech Lord is great. Stacy, pick the name.
Stacy,
Stacy
you are monitoring for good names. It's 9:40. At 9:50, we're going to have a name for this.
Lamprey, Clamp Chops.
So far, Leech Lord strikes my fancy.
That was from Rachel Powell.
Clever girl, that Rachel Powell.
Tooth Tunnel.
Tooth Tunnel.
No big dog.
She's not even going to read it.
Stacy says, heavy is the burden of the name picker.
That's right.
Impress me, y'all. Bloodsucker.
Heavy is the burden of the name picker.
Big dog is sorry, my bad. I vote Leech Lord. Very fitting.
So what I'm doing now is called trenching. I made some wrinkles in it, but they're not as rounded and natural as they could be. So I am going in and knocking the hard corners off of them so that they are a little more fleshy. I want these wrinkles in particular to evoke fat, to evoke elasticity, and I'm trying to put those properties into a material that is neither of those things. Did you work last night?
Last night, no, we were the night before.
That's right. My days run together.
It's okay. I have full days. Today is Saturday.
Okay.
I worked Thursday night, and then I worked yesterday.
That's right. And I just had a rough day yesterday with everything going on with the farm. That's why I didn't go live. I want to make sure that I'm good company. It would not be right of me to hop on and not be able to give you guys everything that you deserve.
Bridget the Witch says, Steve, the basement wants to hurt. Buddy Geek says, my brother Daryl. Degree says, correct side. Hello, complex. We're naming a leech.
Yeah, we're naming this guy. And I've already said no naming after body parts.
Limelight says, we got your back, Alan. And Limelight says, we understand. This is Jason. Jason?
Yes.
Okay. Frank.
Which he's very happy with.
Oh, has he seen it?
Yeah.
Great.
Spoke with him the other day about it.
But it kind of looks like a lamprey.
It does look a little bit like a lamprey.
Hello, Graphy UK.
Hello, Graphy UK.
So Stacy is picking the name, guys.
She has 5 minutes. She is listening to what you have to say. She's weighing it carefully. She will tell me a name that is not Steve. Because Stacy already has a cat named Steve.
And Spatula.
And a cat
Sorry.
named Spatula.
And for you, it is going to be a plant monster, yes?
Yes, I will do some plantiness with this. That won't be all that it is, but it will be a plant monster, at least some.
Stacy says, I hate everything, Steve.
You do. Which now I'm nervous. I do call veto power. Again, benevolent dictatorship, not a democracy. So this is kind of the electoral college system where you guys are all telling Stacy what to name it, but she's going to vote how she sees fit. She may have the best interest of the people at heart, but it might not be the name that won the popular vote that she turned in. And every time you put in a wrinkle, you have to do this trenching. You have to go in and make sure that these are rounded and natural, and they don't just look like tool marks that you scratched in.
Gregory Haynes suggested the mangler.
The mangler.
Buddy says, kinkers are like dinosaur.
That's pretty clever. I like that.
Hey, Lockhart. says, hey, Alan, I got rid of the El Camino and I've been reorganizing the shop all day. Now we have 3 times the space.
That is awesome.
Wow, Lockhart, that's dedication.
You know what? Once you find something that you enjoy doing, and that, so the wonderful part of it is that as a hobby, mask making is something that you can work on alone, but then there's also a community aspect of it where you talk with other mask makers online, you go to trade shows, and talk shop with folks. I think it's a good thing to do, and as a hobby, it has the potential to pay for itself as other people enjoy and want to buy your product.
So we have 2 minutes left.
Okay. Steve! Yes, almost everything has an online community these days. Well, big dog, you might get rid of an El Camino if it was taking up all the room in your mask making shop. I guarantee you it's cheaper to get a mask finished and out the door than it is an El Camino. Okay. So I'm going through with clay now, and I'm kind of filling in all these little ugly spots that just need filling in. All right, we're getting close. Now I have little lines all over this from where I was. So these little ridges in here, all those, I gotta get those out of the way too, so I'm gonna brush this down. Oh, you're right, it's 9:50. 9:50. Stacy, what est thou nameth? Leech Lord! And there was much rejoicing. Woo! That's spirit fingers. Woo! All right. Trench mouth. That's funny. Everything gets a lot of trenching though. All right, so now I'm going to grab a little bit of that. I'll probably use floor wax and brush that out to make it smooth out. But I think I will use this brush, which is stiffer, because it's a brush I painted with earlier and didn't clean it out. But now it's a better stiffness. So pretty much all the stuff that I took off the table in the beginning of the night, I'm putting back on the table. Which is why I spend so much time in the shop. Lord. Leech Lord. Party time. Excellent. I'm a lord. I'm a leechy lord.
Stacy says, "Oh, hail, hail the leech lord." Oh, Tarantula says, "Now the contest is over, is it safe to say Arth asked the leech king?" No.
Oh my.
Crazy says, "Long may he reign in terror." Potty Geeks, my 12-foot skeleton came in. I need to go pick him up tomorrow.
So, all right. Last night, I ordered myself one of those 12-foot skeletons. And I think, well, and I ordered it for the Monster Museum because I am going to put it together and modify it a bit. And I think I'm going to make it a Cyclops skeleton for the Monster Museum that I have at Scarborough Renaissance Festival. It's my belief that that will be a cool, fun thing to do. And under here is barely sculpted, so I've discovered.
Name cred goes to Rachel Powell.
Hooray, Rachel Powell.
How do you feel about the new Bill and Ted?
I don't have any thoughts on it yet. I mean, I haven't seen it, so I don't know. I probably won't see it for a long time.
What's the reason you use the mopping glove?
I just like what it does to the clay. Water is an eroder also, but this kind of impregnates the clay with a bit of wax. And I like, it keeps it from drying out so fast. And it is a different flavor of erosion, if that makes any sense.
Rodney says, "I want to do something with one of those 12-foot skeletons."
Yeah, I mean, as they are, they're okay. But, I mean, you know.
Enigma, can you do me a huge favor and show me how to do fish scales? I've never done this texture before, and my sculpt is looking like a rock.
Okay, it depends on what kind of scales you're talking about. Like, are you, because fish scales means a bunch of different things. Do you mean like the scales on an alligator gar, the scales on a tarpon, or the micro scales that you see on a bass or perch? Or maybe you're even talking about some of the bony fishes and their plate-like scales. So help me dial that in.
Crazy says, "I just looked them up and I need one of these. I've been thinking about a giant reaper because I have a giant skull. That would be so much easier." Enigma says, "Very small, octopus scale."
Enigma,
Wants to put scales on it.
octopuses don't have scales. So like what type of scales do you want?
Potty Geek says, "I plan on corpsing both of mine to stand over an entrance path."
Wow, that's awesome. That'll be a great entrance.
Plastic Ninja, "I'd like to have a giant zombie at my grave. Enigma says as small as possible, smallest scale possible."
Okay, but from what animal? Like what type of animal scales would you like on there? Because different animals have scales, but they all seem a little bit different. So like give me a specific type of fish scale that you're talking about. When I say scale, I don't mean size. I mean a,
Scale of body.
yeah, like a body part scale.
Do you do interviews for other YouTube channels?
Yes, I do.
Plastic Ninja says, "I just don't want to pay $300 for them. If you want a giant reaper, you can do them easier and way cheaper." Plastic Ninja says.
Yeah, because I mean, a reaper, it's all cloth, you know. You just suspend your cloth the right way, and it looks cool. So, if you want to do it for a reaper, then I wouldn't go with the giant skeleton.
Third degree, how did you order the 12-foot skeleton, Alan? They're always sold out when I look online.
Honestly, I just went online, and it said it was back ordered, but it let me order it, and I had it shipped to home. And And they said they would tell me when it shipped.
Okay, Tarantula's heading out. Good night, Tarantula.
Good night, Tarantula. Thank you for going easy on the butthole jokes.
Enigma says they have super small ones, I swear.
Alexa, do octopus have scales?
Sorry, I don't know that.
I didn't know
Because
that.
the small trout.
Oh, okay. Boy, those are fine. What I would do is I would get yourself a small wire loop tool. I have a small Ken's Tools wire loop tool right here.
Enigma says rainbow trout.
I have a wire loop tool here. Now, and you're going to hate this because these are labor intensive. And let's say here's your sculpt surface. So I'm laying that loop tool in.
Enigma says, oh, I already hate this.
Yeah, there's not like a super easy way, man. Yeah, this is, you want to do those tiny scales.
Can't see.
Thanks, wife. And these are then too harsh, all right? So then you've got to go in and calm these down somehow.
Enigma says, I wish I could show you, but I will try this one out right now. I'm never doing scales again after this.
So you also could make yourself a little scale tool. It's funny that we're about to add one to the website in our sculpting tools, but it's a bigger scale tool. It's not for fine scales like this. So if you look at that, you can see that scale pattern, but these aren't necessarily that scale-like until you calm them down a little bit. Now I have to get off the floor wax that I put on this. And you calm them down. Now you could use water for that. You could use floor wax, whatever. I just used the liquid that I had on hand. But now it's much calmer, and that reads much more like scales.
Crazy Angel says, I have the skull and cloth, which is just black bed sheets, but the arms and how to hold the challenging me. I'm trying to utilize threaded steel and cool pins. I'm trying to make
So what I would do is I would watch my pull noodle props video, drop your threaded rod. If you're just talking about a reaper, then you can, if you're just talking about a reaper, then what you can do is his scythe, that gets put in the ground. Like that's a pole that's mounted into the ground, and then that goes up. And just have his arms be pool noodles. Okay, you need one pole in the ground for his chest to go up, like a flagpole or whatever, where you mount his head and some kind of a shoulder crossbar. And then you have his reaper scythe, which is attached into the ground. And then you just do the arms as pool noodles. Watch my pool noodle props video for how to put them together super easy. And you can even make a rib cage out of pool noodles for him to fill out inside of the fabric some. But it's pretty easy. And also look up the work of Haunted Overload and there's an awesome guy who does all the haunted overload stuff. Eric Lothar. Eric Lothar. Yes, I was trying to think of his last name. Eric Lothar, and they make a lot of those tall things, and it starts with one pole in the ground. But because you want that reaper staff off to the side, or even, you could mount it at an angle, so he's holding it at an angle. And that's how I do it. I would just do it out of pool noodles. I really think that you can get away with it and have it work out just fine.
How long is the turnaround on masks now?
If you order something right now, you're about a month and a half out.
Unless it's, what, we're talking about sculpting and from the beginning, it's something that you just need to pour in.
Yeah, if it's a blank, then we can have a blank out next week.
But if it's,
Simply because that's a real fast thing in between.
yeah, and if it's something that you've already sculpted and made a mold of, then it's not gonna be a month and a half.
Right.
It's from the basics up.
Yeah, I mean, it all depends. It all depends. And if I have a mask that's going to take me 3 hours to do, and one that I know is going to be 13 hours, even though that 3 hour one came in later, I might knock that out because that's the amount of time I have to work that day.
What if you use one of those sure foam shapers?
On pool noodles?
Did you catch that Harbor Freight has the EVA foam on sale now with a super coupon for like $6.99?
That's awesome. Harbor Freight's the jam. That's what kids are saying these days, honey.
One of your videos, you used contact cement in your quick connect airbrush.
Yep.
How did you paint the cement?
What's the question?
Misty, did I read this right? I'm trying to, on one of your videos, you used contact cement in your quick connect airbrush. How did you think the cement? I think she means how did you paint?
How did I thin the cement?
Okay.
How did I thin the cement? You thin it with naphtha. You thin it with naphtha. Or xylene. Xylene is even better, but a lot of people don't know about xylene.
Buddy Geek says I'm planning on a 30-foot reaper.
Awesome.
Crazy says no, the shaper for the scales.
That's a pretty big pattern. And I mean, it would not be good on the inside of curves,
Just a precedent.
It's where you can, on a flat piece of clay, it might work. But like if I wanted to do this whole thing, I'd have a real hard time using that piece. And Enigma uses some kind of an oil-based clay, so
Or
yeah.
actually even better, some kind of mesh.
You could use a mesh and push it in. Easier with water-based clay than oil-based clay.
John C. says in the Easy Cobwebs video, you put cobwebs on a candlestick.
Yeah. Yep, and I thinned it with xylene or naphtha. If I had to thin it, but if you use it new, you don't have to thin it. Just run your airbrush at 100 psi to push that stuff out of there. I am getting to like this. I do see some areas that still need smoothing out. And some of these are rake marks, and some of these are loop tool marks.
Limelight, I finished the block out for my mask. Evidently, a foam clay develops a skin pretty quickly, so I'll have to wait until it's fully dried to hammer out some more details.
Yes. You might have to do that with really thin clay on top.
Crazy says, the cobweb thing fascinates me. And John C. says, you added Rust-Oleum to color.
Yeah, I just misted it with some spray paint. Yep. Come with me, you will be in a world of OSHA violations. You're not that way?
No!
Yeah.
That's awesome. Oh,
Every now and then you gotta sing that at the construction site.
oh, that's cute.
This is why sculpting is fun.
Why is it fun?
I just worked really hard to get all those little lines out of the clay. And now I grabbed some tools so I can put little lines all over the clay. It's like, but you just took that away. But those weren't the ones I wanted. I wasn't enforcing my will upon the clay. That's impotent. So this is a high dollar sculpting tool. I have two of them right here that I can show you. This first high dollar sculpting tool I use to make fine wrinkles. This used to be a whisk from the dollar store. And I cut all the ends where it looped over and just straightened them out. And now I run it.
John C. says, Rust-Oleum was mixed in context and ink spray later to color it.
Oh, maybe I did do that. Yeah, you can do that too. Yep. All right, so whisk. What's cool about this is that each one of those wires move individually, and they are going to create little wrinkles and stuff in here that are all traveling in the same direction, but it's not like they're static. See how it kind of dances over top?
Plastic Baby says, the sculpting form looks like he's in a hostage video takeover or something.
Well, what happens in the shop
Stays.
stays in the shop. All right, so that's fun. I got some of that going on. Let's smooth that out. But I put them on and they're too harsh. So I've got to calm them down. And then this high dollar sculpting tool that I'm about to show you right here. You might think that this is a hairbrush that I cut up on a chop saw and hot glued to two tongue depressors. And you would be right. But it's one of my favorite tools for wrinkles. Can you guys even see what it's doing? Yeah, you can. Look at all those little micro wrinkles that got in there. If I really want to get aggressive with it, instead of going flat, I go sideways. And now these wrinkles are just more stronger. Brush it out. Brush, 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 brush it out. Brush it out. See that? Elephant skin all of a sudden. Let's go to the other side. No detail.
Body Geek says, I came up with a new Bryanism yesterday. You can lead a horse to water, but you know he's drowning once.
That's right. Unless you drown him by the pet cemetery. Because then he'll come back.
Limelight says he needs moisturizer.
He does need a little bit of moisturizer. I'm letting this one kind of do it does what it wants. That's what I'm letting happen. And then I brush that out so that I get those little clay boogers off. As long as I go the right direction, you can kind of do no wrong, you know? And I've established the direction by putting these wrinkles in.
Stacy says hashtag demon
Demon.
Your dog said, okay, I see eye holes. What about air, nose, mouth?
All that will be cut out from around the teeth. So there's that ring of teeth. Well, that ring of teeth sticks out this way, and I'll cut a hole right under here. So my mask that I'm making right now, I'm actually being pretty careful to not have your mouth hole aimed straight forward so that your respiratory droplets do not expel towards a guest. I'm going to have all of those holes aimed a different direction.
Same technique can be used for a Slimer mask.
Sure. Yeah, anything with wrinkles. I mean, I use this for all kinds of wrinkles. It's just a much more interesting surface now. That doesn't look wrinkled, but I swear it is. This is full of sort of maggoty deliciousness. So I do think I want to put some ear holes on this. This is going to be used for LARP. So I'll put in the ear hole and then I'm going to justify it with some wrinkles. Here are my eyes. I'll go straight back from the eye and a hair lower. When you're putting in ear holes, you don't have to put them in really deep. So that's just going to be a spike on the inside of the mold. It'll be likely to break off. So I don't do them real deep. Maybe a ½ inch.
April Edwood says you guys are awesome and I love you.
Thank you. You're so nice.
Crazy A-hole says, I just watched the pool noodle video. I have to say, you sir are a genius. I would never thought of that.
Well, it does make life easier.
Basement Hunter, what would that work for wood grain?
It could, yes. Wood grain I normally prefer to do with paint, but yes, I do sculpt in wood grain on occasion.
Finn Godwell, I looked everywhere for your sculpting tools on your website. I cannot find them. I thought you said they'd be on Friday. I could be wrong.
Well, I'm sorry, I had a rough Friday. So, my apologies. You're right. They're not up. Hey, wife, in your massive spare time, could you talk to my webmaster and help me get those sculpting tools up?
Sure.
What do you need from husband?
I'll need some information.
Okay.
Yeah. Will you add whiskers or hair to this?
I don't think so. Frankly, it looks too much like a butthole for me to put a lot of hair around it.
I don't think the customer wants that.
Yeah. There might be a hairy version later, but right now, I'm going to say no.
Big Dog said, blame Steve on
Yes. sometimes you have to acknowledge what something looks like and make choices that pull it in a different direction. So no hair on this guy. Probably, hopefully not a lot of paint in the paint job, you know?
Peacock said, yes, careful. Hello, Dan, of course.
Hey, Dan.
Limelight says, I kind of hate the shape of the ears.
And that's exactly what I wanted. I wanted that puckering star shape to make people uncomfortable. And I'm justifying the hole by making all this wrinkle down into it.
Lisa says, well, you succeeded. Rob is laughing at puckering. Limelight says, ew.
Well, it is a little puckery.
Body Geek says, bloody TP hanging off the teeth would make people uncomfortable, which is fine.
Well, yeah, I'm not going to go there.
Rob says, sweet ears. 1980 says,
Sweet ears.
I just thought this creature had been in a cold pool. Big Dog says, put a shrimp in it if you don't like it. Bridget the Wench says, they're definitely extra buttholy.
Oh.
You guys. You guys.
Okay. See an area here that didn't really get a lot of wrinkles.
Hey, Cash.
Which Cash are we doing
Hi,
that?
Cash. Punisher.
Hey, Cash. How are you, young lady? You're doing some very impressive work on your, that I see on your Instagrams.
Third Degree says, welcome back to the fourth grade. Rob says, this may not be the close-up we wanted. The close-up we need.
That's right. It's a close-up you deserve.
Stacy is laughing at sweet ears.
Yeah, that's pretty clever.
Big Dog says, sorry, I've been drinking bourbon most of the day. Cash
I don't
says-
think Shannon read me what you wrote.
Cash says, thank you so much.
I am lucky enough to work with Cash at Dark Hour. She's one of our makeup artists.
She's an actor too.
She's also an actress.
She was one of the witches
Yeah.
last year.
I interact with her the most in the makeup room because that's where I interact with everyone the most. Yeah, this is extra butthole. Not a huge fan of that. But I think I can paint this to be plant-like down the road. It has to meet the customer's needs first, and then my needs later, you know. Customer needs are first.
Cash, they're asking about Instagram account for your cosplay or work.
Yeah, if you want to post your Insta or something, now you can't just post it as a link, so you'll have to get a little creative with how you post it. Or you could send it to Stacy because she's a mod and she can post a link.
Lisa says, or sea life. Buddy says,
Yeah.
I have airbrushing videos to watch.
Cool.
inside the mouth, do you use iPhones or is that just the head form underneath?
That's just a head form underneath, because those eyes won't even be visible when the mask is made. Okay, so I think this guy's ready for a final bit of waxing. Gonna get a little wax job. What?
Masato says, this reminds me of that Kevin Bacon movie.
Which Kevin Bacon movie? Tremors.
Tremors.
Yeah, this could be a good Tremors worm.
Cash says, you guys are amazing. I love my Dark Hour fan.
Woohoo!
You open the door and aggravate resilient confidence and what have you.
I didn't
have
mean to
no
open a
sympathy
door.
for you.
I didn't open a door.
Will the pledge keep the plaster from sticking to the head form?
Somewhat. I don't trust it. Now this is
Just open a door.
This is Orange Glow floor wax. I keep calling this Pledge floor wax, but what I'm doing is I'm stimulating future floor wax, which I couldn't find. So before I bought Pledge floor wax, but Home Depot didn't have that, so I went with this Orange Glow. It's all the same crap. But I also spray Pledge on it before I mold. And that spray Pledge is really going to be what keeps the clay from sticking to the plaster.
I see it as a Mongolian death worm.
Absolutely could do that.
Hello, Sparrow's Cave.
Now all my wrinkles, I don't want them to go away. So I'm not brushing across the wrinkles, I'm brushing with them. The opposite of what I would want to do if I were dry brushing. I'm just going to kind of let this soak into the clay. A lot of sculpting clays like monster clay are wax-based, and this is water-based clay, but it'll absorb this floor wax just the same. And that just kind of softens everything and makes it a little more organic. What's that?
This is very cool as always. Alto display.
Hello.
Like says, oh Lord, I jumped out of the chat for a second. What the heck is happening here? Yep, he opened the door. Like,
I didn't mean to open a door. This is wax. I was giving it a wax job. Just.
I have no sympathy.
Somebody help me in the comments. Say something wholesome. But look how shiny it is now. Like that's good to me. I like it. I like it a lot. Okay, I feel like this is sculpted, and I'm going to say it's done. What do you think, wife? And at least in one version, I'm going to cut a little hole right here where the mouth is and give them a like a birthday party razor that you blow and then it unrolls and makes a noise. I think that would be super freaky coming out of a mouth like this.
Stacey says, did you know there's a roller skate shortage? That's wholesome.
I have my roller skates. I was not aware of a roller skate shortage.
Will
But you know what? I have a hard time getting 5-gallon buckets right now at Home Depot. Not five quart buckets.
Will the pledge leave a residue on the inside of your plastic mold and inhibit the latex drying?
No, not at all. Remember when I said I was done? Now I'm cleaning up these teeth.
How many mold parts would that be?
I'm just going to mold this in one piece. One piece mold. That's why I do my head forms like this. I will take this off of this sculpting bust, sculpting stand, and I will lay it flat down on the table. And I'm going to do a bucket mold over this whole thing. So, yeah, I mean, this is going to be a simple mold.
Is that a flute man from the Exo Mountains?
It has a similar face, but Flute Man had eyes. Fluke Man was a good monster design.
Dan, of course it says Karen and Darren's farmhouse is complete.
That's awesome. I feel like I'm hearing about my kids who went off to college.
Or your least your nieces and nephews.
Yeah. I love hearing about what's happening with things that I've made.
It's not gonna be going to show and you see a mask and you weren't expecting it.
Yeah.
And it's like, what was it, Scare House?
Mhm.
When we went through Scare House,
Yeah.
and there was a Wendigo mask.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't the Wendigo, it was the.
It was Wendigo. It was an old man.
It was the old Wendigo, yeah.
Yes, old man with antlers.
Then we went into Hell's Gate, and there was some of the plants.
Yeah.
That's fun. What materials will you do the final mold with?
I'm going to mold this with Ultra Cal 30. I want to preserve all that wrinkle detail as much as I can. If I use pottery plaster, that wrinkle detail would go away within 2 or 3 pulls. If I use Hydrocal, it would go away within 8 pulls, and I'll be able to get 15 pulls of Ultra Cal with that wrinkle detail intact.
Misty says, I just finished making one of the short columns that will go in front of the mausoleum. I just need to smooth texture and paint.
That's awesome, Misty. Yeah, so my October season has just changed and been solidified, and I'm not entirely sure of what's happening with me this October. And that's the first time I've ever had that happen in 35 years.
Since you were 11,
Since I was 10.
10.
Yeah. So, I'm not sure what's going to happen. Whatever I do, I want to set a good example. So when I'm going to do something that is safe and socially conscious, I guess is the word for it. I don't want to do anything that looks like I'm being flippant with rules or public safety. I wouldn't mind trying to travel to a haunted house that I thought was safe and working there as a guest actor for a weekend or so. I'll certainly add a couple labs, like one-day labs to the schedule here at the shop for folks. And maybe we can add a monster camp in, an extra monster camp. Honey, when's our next monster camp?
On September 18th.
We have one in September and we have one planned for January, don't we?
Yeah, that's the private.
Yeah, and that was already all, both of those are all booked up. But with this schedule change, maybe I can add one in. It's now that I have time, do I want to give it away? Or do I want to hold my time, because this is time I don't have. And I don't know what the answer to that is yet.
How many pulls can you get out of a plaster Paris mold? Just kidding.
0.5.
Body Geek says, wait, schedule changed on this. There's a.
Yes. Dark Hour Haunted House will not be opening this season in a regular capacity. We're going to do some backstage tours toward the end of the haunt season, but we can't run guests through in a normal manner this season. So that has been a schedule change for me.
Last week he says, I'd be interested in October monster camp.
Well, let's see what happens. I think we can probably make that happen. We're talking about a block of time that I've never been able to plan anything for since I have been allowed to plan things for myself. Because I've done a haunt and I've had a haunt going. and there will be haunt things, you know, I'm producing haunt content right now, but as far as acting in a haunt goes, it's different. A lot of people, they sort of stop haunt acting because they feel their body is giving out on them or whatever. And I just think that you adapt.
He says, I'm shooting for 2022 to open. I figure everything will be figured out by then.
That's awesome. Yeah, I'm sure it will. Or there'll be a new normal that you're used to, you know, and that you can adapt to. I don't think by any means this is the end of live events. That's not going to happen.
Sparrow's Cave. I was a slider once for sterile winds. Sliding on knee pads was rough on the knees. It was still fun, but the idea of stilts and skating sounds like a lawsuit waiting to happen.
Oh, stilts is safer than sliding.
Say goodnight to crazy a-hole.
Good night, crazy a-hole. And I say that stilts is safer than sliding. Just I've done both, and I think you're a little more in control on stilts.
Money Geek says, if haunted overload happens this year, I'm going to make the trip.
Yeah,
Do it.
yeah, I've been. It's wonderful.
Major Prom.
Even
Latest week.
yeah, it made us very weepy. It was the most Halloween haunt there ever was. It is the spirit of Halloween.
Third Degree says, this could be a great opportunity to cross over to the other side of Halloween and appreciate it more as a fan.
Oh, I think I'd be a terrible fan.
I don't think that's true.
I want to do. We'll see. We'll see how it goes.
I'm about to do my first creature this week. Can I ask a few random questions?
Shoot.
Big Dog says, I'm not doing a walkthrough this year, just a walk up and a few pop-ups.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. Just, you know, make something that's visually appreciable, even something that they can see as they drive by. You know, that's good. It's good for this year.
Third Degree says, I visited Haunted Overload last weekend behind the scenes, and Eric plans to be open.
Yes, yeah. And I think it depends on where you are. Texas is still a real hot spot.
New Hampshire probably not so much.
Yeah, we have there's a thing called the Governor's Strike Force to reopen Texas, and the whole plan is laid out of when Texas can reopen. And we got to like stage 3, and then we stepped back to stage 2, and I haven't heard anything that we went back to stage 3. Like we haven't advanced yet, and we're gonna run out of time.
Everything fell apart.
So yeah, we opened back up too soon. I think it's just clear that we opened up too soon. I don't want to talk about virus crap, but you know, virus crap.
Sparrow's Cave. If someone can wear stilts and skates at the same time and not get hurt, I say go for it. Big Dog says, I'll go down with a fight. Monster props behind me. Dan the Corson. I need to order more wood chips for trails. I've used 140 yards so far. I probably need 60 yards.
Wow.
Okay, this is the Neon Trust. You ask questions.
Okay.
What is the best roll release for Ultra Cal using foam 7? Anything else I need to consider?
You're using Flex Foam at 7.
It just says using foam 7.
Okay, if you're using Flex Foam 7 in an Ultra Cal mold,
Ultra Cal.
Ultra Cal is porous, so you actually have to seal the mold because the pores in the mold will bond to the pores in the foam. You can run foam in plaster molds, but paint the whole inside of the mold with something like Johnson's paste wax. Now, that mold won't be good for latex anymore. Are you going to latex skin it and then foam it? In which case, the latex seals the mold, or are you just going to run straight foam? Questions I have.
Okay. Plastic Ninja says, I don't think decorating is a great idea. In my case, I worry about it encouraging people to clump on the porch. Cash says, we're going to see so much more social media influence content this Halloween season, which is going to be super accessible for everyone. I'm excited to get creative with content this season.
Yeah, because I mean that's a very safe thing to do. This has upped the amount of content that I put out, and I was a pretty active guy before. So yeah, you're absolutely right, Cash.
The Neon Trust says, I might need to latex skin it. Can I just standard liquid latex for that?
No, use casting latex. Liquid latex is too thin and watery, and you won't get a good thickness. Liquid latex normally implies makeup latex, and it's called liquid latex on the bottle. You want casting latex or mask latex or even slip latex.
Dan Corson says he's looking for a fat suit and a 9-finger necklace.
Well, I got you covered on the 9-finger necklace. I knew I was going to make one of those. I just haven't taken the couple of hours to throw it together. What I'll probably do is a YouTube Wednesday doing a silicone mold of my fingers. And from that, I will make you a resin 9-finger necklace.
Was your bad day yesterday related to your haunt, or was it something personal that you cannot talk about?
It was all work. It was mostly haunt.
People are still coming.
Yeah,
So they didn't
yeah, all haunt pretty much.
They have.
Also, there was kind of a haunt group that was created on Facebook that I was invited to, and it was just people making fun of other people, and that left such a bad taste in my mouth. They just weren't being nice, and I just like it when people are nice. I try to be nice, you know. So yeah.
I've been watching a bunch of your tutorials, and I'm finally getting started on my own stuff. Thank you for the inspiration.
Very cool. Who's that?
That is the Neon Trust.
Neon Trust. Cool, homie.
King Richard 232. Sorry, I was not speaking loud enough. Hopefully this is better. If it is not, and you guys cannot hear me, I will move closer to the phone. We're not on our 3-camera gig tonight, so
Right.
I was not really paying attention to that, so I'm trying to project. So let me know.
My wife is sitting way over there, and the phone is the microphone right now.
But I can move closer if you need me to.
And also, like, the microphone end is pointed the other way from her, so yeah. All right, but honestly, this sculpt is done. I have reinforced some areas. I made this ridge more apparent between the lip and the gums, so they're not kind of bleeding together. I'm happy with all of the little micro wrinkles in the sculpture, and I think this is going to paint up nice, and I think it'll be a good mask.
Micro Halloween. I posted my first Halloween video today. It would mean a lot to me if some of you checked it out.
Okay, Mike Rowe Halloween. You can probably click on his name and get to his channel. Cool.
You can pull the Minotaur.
What's that?
How's the Minotaur coming?
The Minotaur is poured up, and I will pull it out. Well, I guess I can pull it out of the mold now. It's cured.
I'd love to see you do a Hordak as part of your He-Man collection. Also, do you ever do silicone masks? I'm sorry if you can answer this.
Hordak is on the list. I haven't made it yet, but Hordak is on my short list, actually. There's a chance you'll see him next Wednesday. Wednesday is when I normally start new sculpts. And yes, so I do silicone masks. To be honest, there's a lot of other people out there who are just better at it than me. And for a while, the world was so silicone crazy, latex masks sort of fell off, and we need them for our shock troops, basically, in the haunt world. So I picked up that torch again, pretty heavy. And I see myself sticking with latex for a while, but I might do a silicone mask monster camp at some point in time. But I'm going to tell you, that's going to be an expensive camp. You're probably talking $1,200. Silicone is expensive. And not only do I have to make sure that I have the material for all the masks, but I have to make sure that if someone screws it up, I have enough material to make it right again. And with silicone, you can make $100 puddles if you spill. So, yeah.
Any thoughts on some kind of virtual haunt or event for dark hour? I'm sure a bunch of people would enjoy paying to see something like that.
The trick to that is it's an unknown market. It is, no one knows that people like those. What is a virtual haunted house? Is it a movie? What is it? And if you do something like the Google Lens or whatever, then your window of people who can appreciate it, who are in the tech window to grab onto that and enjoy it, even then, that's a small margin. And if you got all of them, it wouldn't be that many people. So then if you got all of them who are interested in horror and haunted houses, that's an even smaller window. So I don't think at this point that's a practical application or an avenue to go for haunted attractions that are not open.
Big Dog says, sign me up for silicone camp.
Wow.
Ooh, Big Dog, that's going to be a big one.
Yeah.
Do you want me to hold that to...
Yeah, let's come over here and hold
Okay.
it.
Okay, guys. Hang on a second.
This guy out of the way. It's my old compressor.
Oh, dear. Hon, how do you take this off of here? I'm afraid I'm going to hurt your phone.
Nope, it's cracked.
Okay.
Put that in there out of the way. Okay, I'm gonna twinkle. You tell them a story.
Hey, guys.
Right there.
Okay. So I'm going to take you, just to show you a little something here that we've got going. This is my shipping station. Hopefully you guys are seeing this okay. And this is my little photo box that I use to get shots of things before they're sent away. And we've started a little shrine of friends up here that just have kind of started collecting. This is from Linda Pearson. Our pumpkin is named Edgar, and she made that for us. So we've kind of started a little shrine up there. We're developing shrines, guys. I'm not sure what's up with that. So we're going to do a quick pull. And this whole area here last week was the Monster Camp snack area, which is why I still have coffee service here. So which one are we doing first?
Well, pumpkin first.
Pumpkin? Okay, we've got a can you flip him around so I can see what I'm shooting? I'm afraid I'm going to get the wrong thing. Okay, there you go. So this is a pumpkin face mold. We've had a couple of orders.
Things are fine.
Orders for him.
The blank. People love the pumpkin blank.
Well, it's a beauty. Why not?
I might add another pumpkin mask to my list for Wednesday.
That's a great idea. Like a jack-o'-lantern,
Mm-hmm.
but maybe a different shape. It's very traditional. So explain why you're powdering.
Oh, well, latex will stick to itself if you don't powder it. So the powder just keeps it from sticking to itself. You know, if you have an ear or something, it'll collapse and it'll stick to itself. It might not come out ever. So, yeah.
Buddy says, I want a new pumpkin mask. Full pumpkin mask, just saying.
I'll do a full head. Yeah. So this is the Pumpkinator.
Dan McCorson, this whole Halloween attraction thing is driving my wife nuts. How do I ease her nerves? I think she's overwhelmed. Lots of stress for her. I'm trying to convince her it'll be successful. Well,
It could be successful. Don't convince her that it's successful. So, you know what? I need to get a
let's
wig
get
head. Let me put this in. If you are taking out your life savings in order to start a haunted house, I love haunted houses. I don't recommend that. You should do a haunted house the same way you should gamble in Vegas, which is understand that you are paying to entertain yourself. And anything you win is a bonus. So, buy that. If you can afford to spend $5,000 on entertainment to get a previously up and running haunt up and running again, then that's great. If that's not a situation that you're in, I don't know that I would take a risk. Like I tell everybody, don't put more than $10,000 on credit cards for a haunted house. I don't want to see a big credit debt to build a haunted house. I hate that. Start small and let your audience pay for your upgrades.
the full pumpkin mask is getting a lot of
Okay,
head.
that'll be on the list for Wednesday.
Alan, I recall you mentioning maybe a Skype or Zoom class where you would send out a kit, like a blank pull class, something.
Yes. And I have a couple things that are hinging on that. Remember I said I couldn't get buckets? There's a bit of a container shortage right now. Just there's weird things happening in the world, how the economy was a bit disrupted by COVID. So as soon as I can get all my bottles in for my latex mask paint that I want to sell on the website, then I can bottle said latex mask paint, and then I'll be able to...
Do you need the powder?
No, powder's, I'm going to dump it into this mask.
Is that Capricorn?
This is Shikumo. Oh, this is
No,
Capricorn.
that's
Shikumo is the mold I'm dumping it into.
Body Geek says, start small.
Well, that's... Sometimes people ask for my advice after, and it's the same advice. You can start medium, that's fine. Know your market and all that. Okay. But don't think that it's gonna rain money because you open a haunted house. That's not how that works. If you want to make a large fortune, a small fortune in the haunted house business, start with a large fortune. But it's the funnest way you can go broke. Come here, I want to show you something cool. So this was the third eye in the mask. All right, but I clayed over it, but that clay dried and shrank. So what happens is there's more head texture under the eye. Isn't that kind of neat? Once I Dremel this, that'll just blend right in. And this is destined to become a Minotaur. Because it dried, it pulled away from the edge of the plaster. So that's why the latex went around it, and I got the third eye. But then I also have the back of the clay, which came out when I pulled it. Because it's just that patch got dry. No biggie.
Okay, now we gotta do Shikumo.
Oh yeah, let's pull Shikumo.
Michelle's excited. She said Minotaur love.
Yeah, that's going to be really fun to make. I've been looking at horns and thinking and planning. And what I'm probably going to do with that is make a horn out of aluminum foil. And then I'll make a tape pattern for it so that I can make 2 EVA foam horns for that Minotaur. This is Shikumo. If you are familiar with Masters of the Universe, you might know it as Web Store.
Are these cured for 24 hours?
These guys have been in here over a day. Full head is always a harder pull than half masks. You're going to have to know your sculpt and pull the opposite direction. So the ears go up, I've got to pull the ears back out and down. What the heck, wife?
Hey.
Try to keep this place clean around here.
You done?
I'm done.
You're so done.
Okay. Now I need to put the holder for the powder. The powder, don't dump it on the ground. The powder is usable again. Put it right back in the container. And this is Shikumo. Little fudgy weirdness in that one tooth, but that's an easy fix.
How would you fix that?
Cut it off, put a pumpkin tooth there. Don't make it hard.
Okay.
Yeah, this will clean up good.
Here you go. Here. Oops. Here.
Throw that anywhere. Oh. I'm excited because I get to paint this mask the way that I get to paint this mask like the original Web Store. So he'll be an indigo blue. He'll be an indigo blue, and yeah, I'm excited about that. But
So I'm going to get back to the comments. And a lot of them I can't read on the.
okay, so we'll hang out a bit.
So let me.
We're gonna hang out a bit. Yes.
Questions as such, and I missed this. Let me get this one. Hang on, guys.
You can start asking questions, honey.
Okay, so full pumpkin mask down there. They're very much liking that. Micro Halloween. My Halloween walkthrough isn't big at all this year because it's the first year. But hopefully, as the years go on, I will get more stuff and I will get better.
Yes, that's how it works. Build over time.
Rodney Pope says I love a full pumpkin mask. Big Dog wants the first pool. He asked, he's dipping. You haven't even made it yet.
Okay, fair enough.
Body Geek says I called it first. Okay, you guys.
Body Geeks did call it first. He said he wanted one. So, yes.
Okay, what do you think Halloween is going to be canceled this year because of all this COVID stuff?
You cannot cancel Halloween. Halloween is a date on the calendar. It's October 31st. October 31st is coming no matter what. You can't stop time. So that's a date. You can cancel Halloween events. You cannot cancel my Halloween spirit. You cannot cancel my Halloween heart. That's not happening. We will still do Halloween in different ways. It may not be the same, but Halloween is still going to come. and Halloween can still be special. And this is a chance to start more intimate traditions and more intimate memories for Halloween that you may carry on some years, or this may be the year that was different. You cannot cancel Halloween. Halloween's a date. Halloween is a spirit, and it's in me, and it's in you guys, and it can't be canceled. So no, they can cancel events. They canceled concerts. They didn't cancel music. They, no, Halloween's not canceled. It's different. It's just different. Okay.
Did you bloody the snot out of Hammer Time?
I did not, because my photographer hasn't taken pictures of it yet.
That's awesome. I love the full head mask. Dan Corson says part of his profits will go to the John Ritter Foundation. That's awesome.
That's awesome.
It's not okay. So for someone who is newer to prop making, the current environment, is it better to try and find a prop house to work for, or try to freelance clients for experience?
Oh, if you can get someone else to pay you to learn things, that's always the way to do it. That's how I did it. I for most of my haunting career, I worked for a haunted house. I did own one for about 12 years, but I worked for a haunted house that paid me, and I learned everything I learned on their dime. Now, I was a good employee, and I think I had good ideas, and I made cool things, but I was very much learning every moment I was with them. I'm learning now even when it's on my dime, but now my odds of success are higher because I have that experience. Always get someone else to pay you to learn. And then, when you're ready, and that's the trick, is knowing when the time is right, that's when you break out on your own.
There's a call for a new shirt. 2020, you can't cancel my Halloween spirit.
I'm actually working on that shirt. I've already been working on that shirt. And it will be, I did some of the graphics on it last night that I will show my wife. And yeah, that shirt's coming for sure. It needs to be out there, 100%.
What is the one haunt build that you think everyone should build, or you want to build and haven't built?
Okay, so I'll answer both of those. What's the haunt build that I think everyone should build? I think that everybody should at some point build a castle, meaning the sets inside, because it's such a wonderful thought exercise, and people think that castle is such a strong theme, but a castle is 100% defined by the outside of the building. And then you get inside, and it's like, okay, what the heck do we put inside of this castle? And that is one heck of a thought exercise to figure out, okay, what has to be in here? How can we make these rooms and these areas and theme them to go along with this castle? Once we have exhausted the big dining room, the big room with the fireplace, the throne room, and the armory. Once we've done those 4 sets that every castle is going to have, then what do we do? And it's getting past those 4 castle sets. So I think a castle is something that every haunt should do. It's such a good exercise, and the opportunities are from, outside, straight up medieval architecture, and inside you could have a room as elaborate and ornate as King Louis architecture. So, all those things are really neat and a way to flex your muscles a little bit. Now, what do I want to do that I haven't been able to do is I want to buy a log flume ride, and a portable log flume ride that they do carnivals with, set it up permanently, safely, inside of a metal building, and make a River Styx themed haunted house dark ride inside of a metal building, where you ride a log flume ride through it, and of course the end is the big drop, and you can extend the kind of flat parts pretty easy. But yeah, so those are the 2 things. With Charon, the ferryman, all that. Go ahead, honey.
Good insight. Couldn't have said it better myself. Good little punch of inspiration for the upcoming week. Our haunt is brick and mortar castle. Being a Rennie and a D&D fan, that was pretty easy. What program do you use for designing your shirts?
Oh, mostly I do it on Photoshop and Adobe, the other one, the fancier one. There's Photoshop. Right now my brain isn't working well. I use Adobe products.
you have any final words, words of encouragement or inspiration?
No.
Then sign off. You are such a crab.
No. I'm going to ask you guys to be positive. I saw a post on Facebook, surprisingly, today, and it was, Facebook is so negative. I hate that. And that was it. That was their whole post. And it struck me that if Facebook was just a collection of people saying how negative Facebook is, then, well, yes, then it's negative. You know, you reap what you sow. I just ask you guys to be positive. Yeah, there's negative things happening. There's terrible things that happen. Be as positive as you can. Why? I think the option of being negative, I think we're doing that. And if I can just get the 84 people that I have watching here to be positive, then your positivity is going to encourage others, and that's going to spread like wildfire. So I'm a monster guy. I'm a horror guy. I'm a Halloween guy. But I'm a pretty darn positive person. Work on being positive. That's one of the best things that you can do for others right now in such a trying time. Be somebody that they can lean on, not just, you know, it's great that you'll help them move, but if you bitch the whole time you're doing it, then they don't want you there. So be positive. The person who helps you move is a good friend, but be positive with each other. In all of your dealings. It bothers me when I see haunted house people being rude or mean, because we already have a stigma against us that we're darker or meaner or angrier, and I don't think we need it. I think that Halloween is a glorious time of year. It's a celebration, and just be positive. That's all. I don't mean to be preachy. That's not me. But obviously Halloween is near and dear to my heart. So I'm going to sign off. Anything you need to tell me before I sign off, wife, that you've seen comments-wise?
They love the idea of the dark ride, flume ride.
River Styx.
The River
Heck yeah.
Styx. Misty says, I just tried my Halloween costume on and I love it.
Awesome.
Thank you, Alan, for spreading the positive. Big hugs. Good night, y'all. Have a great night. Thank you, Alan and Shannon. Good night. Good night, everybody.
And I say good night, wife.
Good night.
And I say, go make stuff. Jacob messing up to go make stuff at the end of the video.